Then how about the stable quality of the products? Is that a problem or?
Quality is of course an issue, but I think that although it's easy to blame Chinese suppliers, I think that it's quite often also our fault. Because
your fault, you think?
Well, I mean, I think many Western companies come here and expect more savings than you realistically should be expecting. I think that going forward we should be focusing on sourcing for domestic use and not for export. I think the export, when you add together the logistical costs, the increased, because what we have when we take over shipment here is then we get higher capital tied up on our balance sheet becomes bigger, right? Because we have 6 weeks on the boat, we have material that we have paid for or been invoiced for, and so all the cost for all of that and travel, I mean the extensive travel we do to visit Chinese suppliers from US and Sweden. We have visitors coming in groups every week,
And you make the arrangements for them to do the on-site of workshops, the investigation of the suppliers.
We have this sourcing team here is responsible for all investigations they do. We check the quality systems, we take the references, we do self-assessments, we do
cost breakdown,
supplier visits, cost breakdowns, and we really prepare everything as decision material and take 30 potential suppliers down to 2 or 3, so that when division come, we visit those 2 or 3 together, and then we make a decision. The way it works here is that we have quality. Now we're jumping a little bit back and forth in issues here now, but quality, logistics, and sourcing. Those are the 3 functions we have in this office. And we make a review from these 3 aspects of every supplier. All 3 have to give a recommendation. All 3 have to say yes to a supplier and issue a report that I read or the office manager here read. Right now we do not have an office manager, so I'm just hiring that right now actually. You'll be on board very soon. But all those 3 have to say yes, and the office manager has to say yes. After that, we recommend the supplier to a division.
So we'll come all the way.
So this is a small hole here with many suppliers trying to get through the hole.
Yeah, that's right.
And 1 or 2 gets through, and then we introduce the divisions.
Okay, I see. Based on our understanding that Haldex is focused on the commercial vehicles, the market.
Yeah.
So currently China is the biggest one for commercial vehicles. Does that mean you face less challenges here in sourcing because the Chinese commercial vehicles suppliers are better than passenger cars, of course?
Well, I think I'm not sure I understand the question correctly, but if I don't, then tell me. But I think we've had problems for our passenger car, for our 4-wheel drive system, to find suppliers here. It has been really difficult. And that is because the customers to us in that industry are much more demanding. They're much more demanding on quality. When we talk PPM levels for the commercial vehicles industry, we talk, in terms of hundreds, and less than 200 is good or okay almost, or we aim at 50, but
50 is impossible.
But no, it's not. No, it's not impossible. But we aim at 50. In the passenger car industry, over 20 is unacceptable. We aim at 0. 0 is the goal for passenger car industry. And the Chinese suppliers are not up for that challenge yet. I think they have quite a far way to go. So we are just starting now for the first time to buy some components for the 4-wheel drive system here. But we will do that with having double sources in the West and by having some kind of buffer inventory in between to make real thorough quality checks. And we will do that for some period of time until we feel more safe and secure with that. So in terms of commercial vehicles, what you mentioned, yes, there our customers as of today are less demanding than the passenger car industry customers. That will change. I foresee 10 years from now, they will also be demanding under 50 ppm and under 30 ppm. So the industry has to develop that way. They just happen to be 10 years behind the passenger car industry. And it's very interesting. In the third phase, you see the off-road vehicle industry. They are even behind the commercial vehicles in their demands. So you will really see a three-step, and that they're all moving up the same curve. But there is 10 years between passenger cars and commercial vehicles, and maybe 5 years between commercial vehicles and the hydraulic segment that we deliver to.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. In terms of commercial vehicles, I think the biggest challenge here almost is capacity and suppliers.
Capacity.
It's capacity, logistics, quality. I mean, those are the three main things. Capacity, logistics, quality. We see suppliers are accepting, leaving quotations and so on and so forth, and in the end delaying projects a lot, and that is unacceptable to us. It's really unacceptable, and it will hurt the supplier base here because they're damaging their reputation.
Yeah, that's right.
Many suppliers are damaging their reputations. I have friends at Wapco, at Knorr, at Bosch. We talk to each other. Volvo, Autoliv, we all talk to each other. We're friends. And we all share experiences. And some suppliers, they are on the blacklist.
So you never go to them after the experience?
Well, I'm not saying never go to them, but they will have a hard time convincing us to go back.
Trust again.
Or to, yeah, exactly. Because it's all about trust. Or it's not all about trust, but trust is important, I should say.
Yeah. So when you find a supplier potentially good or qualified, will you send the engineer online, on site? On workshops to help them maybe do some improvements.
Yeah, we have supplier development engineers, as we call them.
SQE.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many people in your team now?
That are SQEs.
SQE as well as purchasers engineering.
Well, now we have purchase engineers. We have 6 or 7. We have 4 SQEs, supply development engineers, and we have 2 on logistics.
So in order to keep your China sourcing increasing 50% annually, you have to recruit more people.
Not necessarily. I think for the next year we do not have to recruit. If we have to recruit, I see the next person would probably be another SQE. Because it becomes more and more critical. We will start a very big project for us here next year. It's an iron casting that we're working on here now, and there we will pilot a new way of working, which basically for us, which means that we station an SQE at the supplier for the first, X number of weeks to really quality check every shipment before they go away.
Now the RMB is appreciation very much. Does that have any impact on your strategies here?
No, it doesn't. I think in the long term, if that continues and China becomes such a big, important, or a big part of our business, maybe it will affect later. But right now, both from sourcing and from sales perspective, China is quite small for Haldex. Of our total revenue, how many percent come from China? Less than 5% of our total company's revenue is from China. And also less than 5% of our purchasing globally is from China. So it doesn't affect us so much. And to be honest, it has appreciated versus the US dollar, but it has depreciated versus the Swedish crown, for example. Which is our main current. We're listed in Stockholm, we're a Swedish company. Of course, the US dollar is a concern to us, that is depreciating. That is a much bigger concern than that the RMB is appreciating. Yeah. That's expected. We expect the RMB to appreciate.
Okay.